sanding the motor wells.
So we're gonna...
We definitely didn't show the end result of doing this, so we're gonna show it on camera now. Okay, so we used a serrated scraper on this part of the motor well because we were told it works better and you waste less.
So the whole theory behind the serrations is when you're sanding this flat now, you're only taking off the tops of the joint compound, not joint compound, fairing compound.
Yeah.
And then afterwards you refill it and it should be pretty flat at that point, but you're not sanding off as much material, like basically half the material. That's kind of the premise behind it. Nice work.
That's cool.
Huh?
It looks cool. It's like a zebra.
Yeah. See how there's a gap in the middle here? Can you see that?
Yeah.
Alright, so this has to come down more here. So if we do this now, you got to be getting pretty close here. Just a little gap. Okay? So if anything, I can focus just on the front. Right? Okay? So you're touching glass there. So you see how much you still got to fill?
Yeah.
So once you're on glass and glass, you got to fill that. Right? This is pretty close in the middle, so you just got to fill these grooves, right? Right there's a slight gap, not horrible, right? If you look as it's coming across, and here's pretty close, and a little bit more here, so I'm almost hitting the glass here. So just make sure, right, just for your reference, when you're coming off the edge, did you see how wide your hands just were?
Yeah.
Right, put your hands back on here, no, the way they were. Yeah, right? When you're sanding off the edge, if you're pushing down,
It's gonna do that.
well, not just that, but look at the center of this,
It's off it.
right? It flexes up. Hold that end down, right? Watch the center now, right? And very little pressure does that. So just make sure you try to keep the pressure on the board and you don't run your hands off the edge. You're doing fine, I'm just trying to pay attention to. Okay.
I did nothing.
You did something. Over here is pretty close, right? And just kind of check different angles, right? So there's still a gap in the middle, but we can see it's definitely low here. We didn't hit any of the top of the grooves here.
Yeah.
So we know that's got to be filled some. Same thing over here. That's closer. I mean, and then over here is really close. So the theory now is that when you mix up your next batch, all you have to do is take this spatula and just fill these grooves, and you should be pretty close. And as long as all these are filled, that's it. We should be pretty much fair. You take the longboard across it one more time, and that's done.
Cool.
Right? So that's the theory behind it, and hopefully, you know, it works as theorized. Theorized?
Claimed?
Yeah. Oh, and you screwed up on that guy's name too.
I know. I actually want to thank Fleming, but we can thank Richard too, just for, you know, watching. So thank you, Fleming, for pointing this one out for us. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe.
Alright guys, so sanding corners and stuff. I know Cassie showed you our sanding wheel that we used for the wave break. We definitely make our own sanding blocks a lot of times, and you have to. For the corners, what I went with was a piece of 2-inch PVC when I smeared the fairing compound on here. That should give me a 2-inch diameter curve on here. So what I did is I went to the hardware store and I picked up some just standard foam insulation. It's self-adhesive foam, you know, pipe insulation. I cut a kind of a sliver off of it and I wrapped it around a piece of PVC pipe. So I can actually pull the PVC pipe out if I want to make this a little bit more flexible, but it gives it a little bit of a backbone to keep it stiff when I'm trying to get those straight sections done. I wrapped mine with painter's tape because it's all I could find at the time, but it kind of gives the sandpaper something to stick to, and we're just using a regular pressure sensitive adhesive sandpaper, PSA sandpaper, stuck to it. So hopefully these work decent, but yeah, anything we can do to try to make our lives easier, you know. Cheap materials. I think the foam insulation is like $1 for a 4 or 5 foot piece or something, or $2. It's just, you know, relatively inexpensive. So yeah, just figured I'd give you guys kind of what we do. So all right, well, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I'm gonna get to work.
Alright, so what did we get? As you can see, we got a Flexisander.
Yep, big opening unveiling, unboxing.
Unboxing.
Hi, buddy.
Came from Prague.
Prague?
Czech Republic.
Czech Republic, that's right.
Max, can you out?
Yeah, I don't want to stab you with
Can
my
you out?
buddy.
Thank you,
He's like,
buddy.
guys, he's going to be involved. Flexisander. There you go. Everybody's been saying get a pneumatic sander. And the problem with the pneumatic sander is it takes a large compressor to run, which we don't have. By the time I would purchase a large compressor and upgrade the power to run it, and finally find a place to put it because we're really limited on space, it wouldn't have been worth it for us. So we decided to go with the electric model from Flexisander.
And I don't know why, but for some reason the United States isn't keen on electric longboard sanders.
Yeah, I haven't found anybody that supplies them in the U.S. We've checked all sorts of different automotive retailers, for like auto body, stuff like that, and nobody seems to carry electric, so.
Here she is.
There she is. Hopefully there's no assembly required. Boom, boom.
Go ahead.
Oh no!
Oh no. Didn't even think of that problem.
That sucks.
I have a converter.
Yeah, but what's the voltage on it? 250 volt. That ain't gonna work. Alright, so much for that one.
So what are we gonna do?
I don't know. Oh, well that sucks.
So we can look at it.
That's about
it.
Alright, so the dilemma is, here in the US we run 120 volt, 115 volt, whatever you want to call it. And overseas they run a 2-prong 250 volt. So that won't work for our application. But either way, this is the Flexisander. Electric longboard, 16-inch board. I think it was 2 3/4 wide.
Out.
It's okay, you're just sniffing. This does flex, so you can do kind of curves or contours. It's actually pretty stiff compared to what I actually thought it would be. So that's good. And it does flex the opposite way as well. Yeah. Go like that. So Yeah.
And it twists.
Oh, it twists too? Not too much. I guess it does a little bit, but I don't know how well it shows on the camera. But I mean, it doesn't look like a bad little unit. Unfortunately, we can't use it.
Alright, so the other day we did an unboxing of our new sander, and if you could hear from our voices, we were very disappointed because there's a European plug.
And to remedy that, we purchased this. And this is a automatic voltage converter from
Sayas?
Sayas. Yeah,
Oh.
it's a 110 to 250 volt. It should be anyway. Voltage converter. One voltage converter. So that theoretically should work for this. So one European plug, and I believe it just goes into this hole here. It doesn't fit anywhere else. On/off switch, and we'll plug this into the wall somewhere. But we can do this outside. We can do the demo outside, and we'll just do a quick demo with it. We did pick up some Abranet sandpaper. This is like a mesh type sandpaper. We went with this because the sander itself actually has these little holes in it, and this is for to be able to hook to a vacuum, and hopefully our vacuum fits this port. We might have to get an adapter, I don't know yet.
Of course.
But either way, so it'll take a suction through all these little holes here, and the Abranet is a mesh type sandpaper, so we don't have to worry about all the little holes. We'll be able to just put the mesh on there, and it should collect most of the dust when it's all said and done. So if you buy a Flexisander and you're in the US, make sure you buy the power converter to go with it. And like I say, this should work.
1,000.
Yeah, it's 1,000 watt. I think the sander was 700 watt, so should be good.
Alright, let's go try it out.
We'll have to pick them up.
Okay,
Ready?
ready.
I'll probably do this area so you can get it good. There's different speeds on this as well.
There's different speeds on this as well.
Yep. Well, definitely better than hand sanding. Yeah, definitely want to get the dust extraction hooked up,
Yeah.
which isn't a huge deal. Like I say, I'll
Gotta get the adapter for.
yeah, I'll just get a measurement on
this.
that. We'll go get a rubber front coat from the hardware store, then we'll hook that up. And it's sanding pretty quick.
Is it like too heavy?
It's actually not bad. You want to try it? Yeah. Why don't you throw on a mask?
It's nice, but it vibrates like a bastard.
I think it's pretty good though. With that big handle in the front, really kind of makes it comfortable. It does vibrate, and
My hands are buzzing
well,
just from that little bit.
kind of, yeah, kind of expected that, but
it's nice.
yeah,
No?
yeah. I think it's gonna work all right. I mean, I want to really like put it through its paces and give it a really
Right.
good
Initial thoughts though,
initial thoughts. I like it. I you know,
especially for the side,
for the big
it'll make
panels.
quick work.
I really want to get up on the tunnel because a lot of that's already been longboarded.
Is it hot?
Warm.
It's hot.
It's not horrible. It's doing what it's designed to do. So I'm planning on doing the final touches on all the internal corners. prior to doing a lot of the longboarding, only because I was having issues where I was sanding. I was doing the longboarding first, and when I went to sand the corners, I was actually leaving an indent in the corner. So we went back and filled them last round of fairing, and I want to do these first and then work my way into that with the longboard. Try to give it a little bit better finish.
Alright guys, that's going to do it for this week's episode. Sorry it was so boring with all of the sanding, but that has been our life lately. Make sure you come back next week for another step forward. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Get out of here. Oh. You got stuck on this.